What if Ferrari has found a way to manipulate the air before it hits the car? And that little detail hidden in the front wing is what can completely change the hierarchy in Miami. Because we're not talking about just another improvement, we're talking about a concept that, if it works, could give Ferrari up to several tenths per lap without anyone really understanding where they come from. And most disturbing thing of all is that this trick would already be ready to debut. Ferrari's problem wasn't just performance, it was steering. While other teams evolved step by step, they were forced to rethink their concept in the middle of the season, especially after detecting that they were losing ground in key areas such as aerodynamic efficiency and top speed compared to their direct rivals. It wasn't a question of a bad weekend, it was something deeper. The car had structural limitations that couldn't be solved with simple adjustments. And that's where everything changes. Because instead of following the conservative path, Ferrari decided to take advantage of a completely unexpected situation, the pause in the calendar. While other teams maintained their usual roadmap, in Maranello they saw a unique opportunity to accelerate development and execute something much more ambitious. What has been leaked leaves no room for doubt. It is not a normal update, it is practically half a new car prepared specifically for Miami. But here comes the really important thing. Within that massive package, Ferrari is not betting everything on a single area, but has built a global concept where each piece works together. And the starting point of this entire system is the air. How it enters, how it moves, and above all, how it is controlled from the first millimeter. Because in today's Formula One, the one with the most power does not win. The one who best manages the aerodynamic flow from the start to the end of the car wins. This is no coincidence. Ferrari had already experimented in pre-season with aggressive solutions at the front, trying to modify the flow behavior before it affected the rest of the car. But what we are seeing now is the definitive evolution of that idea. It's no longer just about generating charge, but about preparing the air for everything that comes next. And this is where the famous hidden trick begins to make sense. Because if you manage to control the air from the front wing, everything else automatically improves. The ground works better, the side pods receive a cleaner flow, and the car can be more efficient on the straight without losing stability in curves. It is a domino effect that begins in an area that is normally underestimated, but in this case it can be the absolute key. The most interesting thing is that this approach not only seeks pure performance, but also corrects problems that Ferrari has already suffered in the race. Situations where the balance of the car changed drastically, where small variations in flow affected the overall behavior. We have even seen how alterations to the front wing can completely transform the dynamics of a car, changing everything from load to top speed radically. Ferrari knows this, and that is why it has gone further than anyone else in this area. Because this is not just an improvement. It is a direct attempt to control the most important factor in modern Formula One, the air. And if they have achieved it, Miami will not be just another race. It will be the point where everything can start to change. Now we get into the part where it all gets really interesting, because understanding the trick is just the beginning, but the important thing is how it actually works inside the car and why it can make such a big difference. Ferrari has not designed this front wing as an isolated piece. It has made it the main control point of the entire aerodynamic flow of the car. And here's the key. It's not just about diverting the air. It's about preparing it before it reaches the most sensitive areas of the car. This completely changes the traditional philosophy. The new design introduces an extremely precise combination between the geometry of the flaps, the end plates, and those small details such as the gurney flaps that, although they seem insignificant, are strategically placed to modify the boundary layer of the air. What does this mean? That Ferrari is not only guiding the flow, is manipulating its physical behavior so that it reaches the ground more stable, cleaner, and with more energy. And this is where the real hidden trick appears, the system of hydraulically controlled moving flaps. This system does not act as a simple load adjustment, but as a dynamic flow modulator. Depending on the situation straight, fast cornering or braking the spoiler can subtly alter how the air surrounds the car. It is not a sudden change that you can easily detect. It is something progressive, almost imperceptible, but constant. This allows Ferrari to do something that very few teams can achieve: simultaneously optimize two things that are normally in conflict. On the one hand, reduce resistance to gain top speed on a straight line, and on the other, maintain aerodynamic stability in curves. Is the perfect balance that everyone seeks, but that almost no one achieves without compromises. Now, the most powerful thing about this concept is not just the spoiler itself, but how it impacts the rest of the car. Because when the air reaches the ground in a better organized manner, the ground effect works more efficiently. That means more load without needing to add drag. And when the flow reaches the side pods cleaner, thermal management also improves, allowing more aggressive configurations without penalizing reliability. It is literally a chain effect. And this is where Ferrari can strike. Because if this system works as expected, they will not only win in a specific area, they will improve the overall performance of the car in all sectors of the circuit. Faster straights, more stable corners, better tire degradation, all connected in one piece. But there is also a huge risk. This level of sophistication depends entirely on the correlation between simulation and reality. If the flow behavior does not exactly match what is expected on the track, the entire system can lose effectiveness or even generate inconsistencies in the balance of the car. And in Formula One, when the balance fails, performance plummets. Ferrari is playing all or nothing. Because if they get it right, this front wing won't just be an improvement, it will be the turning point that changes the season. But if they fail, they will have invested resources, time, and development in a direction that may not yield immediate results. And that's what makes Miami not just another race, but a large-scale experiment that can redefine who's really in front. And this is where everything converges, because we are no longer talking about theory nor simulations, nor what Ferrari believes can happen. We are talking about the moment in which this hidden trick is going to confront the only truth that matters in Formula One, the track. Miami is not just any circuit. It is a route that punishes any aerodynamic weakness, where top speed is key, but where you also need stability in very specific technical areas. It is, in short, the perfect setting to expose whether this new Ferrari concept is a masterpiece or a miscalculated risk, because if everything works as expected, the impact will be immediate. It will not be something progressive or difficult to detect. It will be noticeable in every straight line where Ferrari gains meters effortlessly, in every curve where the car looks more planted, more precise, easier to push to the limit. And that's where your pilots will be able to make the real difference. But the most important thing is not just the performance on one lap, it is what this can do to the rest of the grid. Because if Ferrari proves that this concept works, it will force all teams to react. And here's the real game changer. It's not a piece you can copy from one week to the next. This type of solution requires redesigning the car's philosophy from the ground up. It's time, resources, and above all, understanding exactly what Ferrari is doing with the air. And while others try to figure it out, Ferrari could gain a critical advantage. Now, there is also the other scenario, one that almost no one talks about, but that is just as possible. If the correlation fails, if the system does not behave the same on the track as it does in the wind tunnel, Ferrari could face an unpredictable car. A car that changes its balance, that does not respond the same lap after lap, and that forces the drivers to constantly adapt. And that, on a race weekend, is lethal. Because we have already seen in the past how small changes in the aerodynamic flow can completely transform the behavior of the car, even generating unexpected effects that affect everything from load to top speed. So Ferrari is walking a very fine line between making history or getting the season complicated. Miami will not only be a race, it will be a definitive test. The moment where we will know if this hidden trick is really the masterstroke that can change everything or simply another risky attempt in an increasingly extreme battle. And when the checkered flag falls, we won't just have one winner. In the end, it all comes down to a single idea. Ferrari is not trying to improve, is trying to get ahead of the future. This hidden trick on the front wing is not just another piece in a large package, it is the beginning of a change in philosophy. Controlling the air from a first point, manipulating it before it affects the rest of the car, and converting that advantage into real performance on the track. That's the bet. And it's a total bet. Because if it works, we will not only see Ferrari more competitive, we will see a team that has found a direction that others do not yet understand. An advantage that is not measured only in tenths, but in concept, on how a modern Formula One is designed. But if he fails, the blow will also be great. Because we are not talking about an isolated update, we are talking about a base on which the entire development is based. And when that foundation doesn't respond, everything else falters. That's why Miami is not just another race on the calendar. It is the point where Ferrari is going to show if it has really discovered something that can change everything, or if this secret remains a promise. The difference between getting back to the top or continuing to chase it. And now the real question is, are we about to see the birth of a new reference in Formula One, or the limit of an idea that went too far? Let me know in the comments what you think about all this.